going to tell you something that most people would never admit. The thing stopping you isn't the economy. It isn't bad timing. It's 5 thoughts running in a loop in the back of your mind. Right now, I had a client, Michelle, and on paper, she had everything. MBA from the top program, 15 years of experience, a network, but she sat across from me and said, I don't know what's wrong with me. I keep watching people with half the experience that I have get the opportunities I want. I'm Dr. Amirah Hall. I spent over 2 decades as an energy psychologist helping thousands of professionals break free from the invisible patterns blocking your success. In brain scans, something troubling happens when people reclaim negative thoughts. The neural pathways deepen, like water carving grooves into a stone. The more you think it, the more automatic it becomes. Research from Stanford University has shown that repetitive negative thoughts activate the amygdala, the brain's fear center, while reducing activity in the prefrontal cortex, the region that's responsible for decision-making and planning. They're literally shrinking your capacity to succeed. But here's what neuroscience also confirms. Neuroplasticity is real. These grooves can be filled in. New pathways can be built at any age. And once you see the thought, you can change the thought. And let me show you the 5 thoughts that sabotage your dreams more than any external obstacle, starting with the one that runs the deepest. I'm not good enough. Underneath that hesitation, there's often the single thought. It rarely announces itself. It hides behind procrastination, perfectionism, behind the voice that whispers, who do you think you are? I worked with a client, David. Every time a leadership role opened, he talked himself out of replying. When we explored his subconscious, we found a memory from middle school. 6 weeks later, David applied for the director position. Got it. With a 30% pay raise. The thought was never true. It was just loud. Thought number 2, I'm too old, or I'm too young. Now imagine a different kind of block, not about worth, timing, I'm too old for this. Or its twin, I'm too young to be taken seriously. Age becomes an excuse your brain uses to keep you comfortable, safe. I had a client named Patricia, 56 years old, dreamed of starting a consulting practice, but that voice kept whispering, you missed the window. That's a young person's game. And when we worked together, we discovered that thought wasn't even hers. It was her mother's voice. Patricia had been carrying her mother's limitation like it belonged to her. We cleared it, and she launched 8 months later. Now she's fully booked with clients who seek her out specifically because of her decades of experience. Vera Wang designed her first dress at 40. Colonel Sanders started KFC at 65. Your age isn't a limitation. It's your advantage. Thought 3, you don't have enough. Here's another thought that shapeshifts. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough connections. A 2013 study, Princeton and Harvard, published in Science, found that scarcity mindset reduces cognitive function. That's not just feeling limited. You're thinking limited. Your brain filters opportunities because they don't match your programming. I worked with this client named James. He wanted to leave his toxic corporate job and start something of his own. He was convinced he needed $50,000 saved before he could make that move. We cleared the scarcity patterns. 2 months later, he launched with $3,000 and he landed his first client through LinkedIn connection he'd been ignoring for 2 years. The opportunity was always there. His brain just couldn't see it. Scarcity isn't a circumstance, it's a frequency, and they can be changed. Thought 4, I'm afraid of failure. Now consider the thought that stops more dreams than any other. What if they reject me? What if I put myself out there and I fall flat? Fear of failure isn't actually about failure, it's about shame. And being seen as inadequate, confirming that deepest wound so that we all play small. I had this client named Rachel who wanted to pitch a startup to investors. She had a solid business plan and she just kept pushing the meeting back. We traced it back to her dad, a man who criticized every report card, every performance, every attempt that wasn't perfect. So she'd spent her whole adult life trying to avoid his disappointment, even though he'd been gone for 10 years. We cleared that pattern and she pitched the following month. She got the funding. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the pathway to it. Thought 5, others are more talented. Finally, the comparison trap. They are more talented than me. They got lucky. They have something I don't. Social media has weaponized this thought, and we compare our behind the scenes to everyone else's highlighted. I worked with this client in Keisha, phenomenal executive coach, but she couldn't market herself. Every time she tried, she'd see another coach online with more followers, fancier branding, and she'd shriek. What do I have that they don't? And here's what I told her. You have you, your story, your specific combination of wounds and wisdom. No one else has that. So we cleared the comparison patterns, and she started showing up consistently. And within just a few months, she had a wait list. Your only competition is who you were yesterday. Think of this as mental hygiene. Notice one thought that runs the loudest and start there. When it arises, don't resist, because resistance strengthens those neural pathways. Instead, observe it, name it, ask yourself, is this thought true? Or is it familiar? Because familiar and true are not the same things. And then consciously choose a reframe, like I'm growing every day. My timing is perfect for my path. I'm resourceful and supported. Failure's my feedback. My unique gifts are enough. The thought loses its grip and a new pattern taking hold. So we think of these thoughts as who we are, but they're not. They're programs running in the background installed before you knew any better. 5 invisible saboteurs. I'm not good enough. I'm too old or too young. I don't have enough. I'm afraid of failure. Others are more talented. Your dreams aren't sabotaged by circumstances. They're sabotaged by your thoughts. You've mistaken as facts. Change the thought. Changes everything. Now you might be wondering, which thought is really running my life? And how do I clear it for good? That's exactly what we uncover in a free 15-minute clarity call. Just a real conversation about what's been blocking you and what's possible on the other side. The link's in the description, so book yours right now. And if this video opened your eyes, tell me, which thought did you hear and think, oh, that's me? And I'd like to hear from you. And before we go, I want you to hear this. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're not too far gone. You're simply waking up to patterns that were never yours to begin with. The fact that you're here, watching this, seeking answers, doing the inner work, that takes courage. It takes honesty. It takes heart. So be proud of yourself today. You're already changing. And I believe in you, and I'll see you next week.